Canto 1 up to chapter 9, and today we are starting with chapter 10. So I'll just give a recap of what happened in the last chapter. In the last chapter, we have seen that the war has ended and Bhishma Pitama is lying on his bed of arrows, and everybody is gathered around him and he is giving life advice to Yudhishthir and everybody around. And then he sees Sri Krishna and prays to him and asks him to give him, a very good journey back to the heavens. So basically, this is how the whole thing has turned out. Now Yudhishthir is going back to his kingdom. Wherever the war, after it is over, naturally you have to gather everything back again. So Hastinapur is the kingdom where he is going back. And in this new chapter, what we are going to learn is about how Krishna is going to ask him whether he could go back to his kingdom, that is Dwarka. So this is the new chapter that we are doing. So let us start with chapter 10. We are doing Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwarka. This is the new chapter. Verse 1, Shaunak Muni said, after killing these enemies who desired to usurp the rightful inheritance, how did the greatest of all the religious men, that is Maharaj Yudhishthir, assisted by his brother, rule his subjects? Surely he could not freely enjoy his kingdom with unrestricted consciousness. Now, Shaunaka is asking Sutta Goswami, can you please tell us, after the war is over and Yudhishthira has gone back to the kingdom, winning that kingdom, what were his feelings and how was he behaving with the people over there? See, when somebody wins the land, whoever takes over the region after the war, they have to be a very good administrator of that region after they take over. So naturally, what is the feeling the moment a person takes over that particular piece of land which belonged to the enemy first? So Kauravas were ruling that kingdom and now the Pandavas are taking over. So what is it that was going on in the mind of Yudhishthir? So here you will find that Shaunak Muni is asking Sukdev as a disciple, Sutta Goswami, what exactly happened? So now in this chapter we are going to find out how this is playing out. So verse 2, Sutta Goswami said, Lord Shri Krishna, who is the maintainer of the world, became pleased after re-establishing Maharaj Yudhishthir in his own kingdom and after restoring the Kuru dynasty, which has been exhausted by the bamboo fire of anger. So here you will find that Sutta Goswami is explaining to his disciple that once the Pandavas took over the kingdom, Sri Krishna, who was over there present at that moment in time, the handover ceremony happened, it finished, and Maharaj Yudhishthir was established as the king over there. Now, once he is established as the king over there, the kingdom has to be straightened out. See, basically people are there in the kingdom who are going to be pro and against. So naturally the king has to become a very benevolent king so that he can rule the kingdom properly. That is the idea. And what happened to the Kauravas? The Kauravas lost everything and almost everybody died over there. So now we go to verse 3. Maharaj Yudhishthir, after being enlightened by what was spoken by Bhishma Dev and Lord Shri Krishna, the infallible, engaged himself in matters of perfect knowledge because all his misgivings were eradicated. Then he ruled over the earth and seas and was followed by his younger brother. So you will find that Yudhishthir takes charge of the kingdom and he has perfect knowledge. If you recollect, he was the person who was questioning Bhishma Pitama on his deathbed. And he asked for some tips on how to lead this life in the future. And Bhishma Pitama gave him very sagacious advice, which he was going to carry out so that he can rule the kingdom properly. And he started ruling the kingdom, and after he finished ruling the kingdom, then his younger brothers took charge. So this is mentioned over here. During the reign of Maharaj Yudhishthir, the cloud showered all the water that the people needed, and the earth produced all the necessities of man in profusion. Due to the fatty milk bags and the cheerful attitude, the cows used to moisten the grazing ground with milk. The rivers, oceans, hills, mountains, forests, creepers, and active drugs in every season paid their tax quota to the king in profusion. Now, what happens to the kingdom? The kingdom is now in peace. And because the kingdom is in peace, you will find that the farmers are, taking care of their land. There are people who are planting trees, and the trees are growing, and the rivers are flowing with water, and the cows are giving enough milk so that the sustenance is also there. And this happens when everything is going on well. You will find that in our life also, we also go through this phase. When there is peace everywhere, when there is quiet, you will find that everything is moving very, very smoothly. If there is war, if there is a lot of angst going on, there is a lot of problems going on in our land, land means our own life also, you will find that there is going to be trouble. So here you will find that Yudhishthir is ruling the land and everyone over there is peaceful. Even the trees and the plants and everything over there is giving enough fruits and feed to everybody. So it's a prosperous place. Because of king having no enemy, the living beings were not at any time disturbed by mental agonies, disease or excessive heat and cold. Now here it is said, if you don't have any enemies in your own land, then what happens? There is peacefulness and there are no mental problems. Today you will find that there is so much of strife in this world. The neighboring nations are fighting with our own country. You will find that we are literally surrounded by big enemies from all sides. See, on the eastern side, you will find the northeastern side also, you will find that there is China. And on the western side is Pakistan. And then we have an enemy right here in the middle, which is called Bangladesh. We were having good relations and suddenly the relations have gone out of the window. This kind of strife comes in the land when there are enmities, when people do not have brotherhood, and there is angst, there is anxiety going on. People are going through a lot of troublesome times. It's because of that you will find that the country has to spend more on defense. You will find that the biggest allocation of funds today in India also is on defense. Now the new president of the United States has come into the picture. Where do you think he is going to spend his money on? Naturally, he is going to spend more money on defense because that is the weakness of that country. Surrounded by enemies on the northern side and on the southern side also. There is so much of drugs and things, people coming inside. Naturally, there is going to be a lot of money being spent on those kind of things. There is a lot of mental anxiety in people. You will find that people are having, strife going on in their life. There are so many morchas and people are fighting and there is a strike going on and people are burning things up. Lot of problems are there in that country. Similarly in India, it's the same thing. At various places in India also, there is a lot of trouble going on. This happens when there is an internal and an external problem. Here he says, because the king having no enemies, the living beings are not at any time disturbed by mental agonies. Here the king, here the rulers of the land have lot of enemies. Too many enemies. And there are diseases going on. Various kinds of diseases are attacking. And there is excessive heat and cold. Can you see that there is a lot of heat and cold? Places which were not even supposed to get snow and rain are getting rains in very odd seasons. There is too much of heat. Now the summer is coming in the northern hemisphere. The summers are going to be scorching because there is internal strife. The earth also feels this thing within herself. And that is the reason why you will find that earth by itself is called Dharti Mata. She is a mother. She also feels the pain. Shri Hari, Sri Krishna resided at Hastinapur for a few months to pacify his relatives and please his own sister Subhadra. Afterwards, when the Lord asked permission to depart and the king gave it, the Lord offered his respects to Maharaj Yudhishthir and bowing down at his feet. And the king embraced him. And after that, the Lord, being embraced by others and receiving their obeisance, got into his chariot. At that time, Subhadra, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, Gandhari, Dhritarashtra, Yuyutsu, Kripacharya, Nakul, Sahadev, Bhimsen, Dhaumya, Satyavati all nearly fainted because it was impossible for them to bear separation from Lord Krishna. You will find that Sri Krishna has asked permission to leave. Though he is the Lord of this universe, but he has to behave like an ordinary person. In the last chapter we saw that nobody is able to recognize him. Even in his glorious state, hardly anybody recognizes Sri Krishna because his Maya is playing the tricks over there. Just now also he is about to leave for his motherland, which is Dwarka. He wants to go back. And he has come and told Yudhishthir, now I wish to go back. And Yudhishthir has agreed, okay, now you can go. And the rest of the people in the court, they also are feeling very upset. They are feeling that Krishna should stay here for a longer duration of time. Now think about it like this. You love someone and that somebody comes to your house to stay. How many days would you want to keep that person? For a very long period of time. But if you hate somebody, if you don't want that person, do you know, you are just waiting for that person to get away, get lost. We are waiting and then we will have this false bravado, oh, you should stay for a few more days. This is the complete, nonsense. Nobody wants you in your house. Today's day, there is no love in this world. Do you think anybody would want any other person to come and stay? What is happening in the world today? Donald Trump is telling all these people who have entered their country, please get lost, go away from here. I will fill you in the planes and trains and this and that, and I want to throw you out of my country. Do you understand? If you are, one day is okay, 2 days is okay, 3 days is not good enough. So here, people are overstaying there. People who have finished their visa also are staying back. And in India, hundreds and thousands of millions of people, I believe there are 4 crore people from Bangladesh who are in India. Why are they here? What is the reason for them being here? Or which we are such a generous country that we have to accept these people? I think it is not proper, because these are the same people who are ruining our country. You know, all the money which was there in US was being given to these people. You will find that one person is saying that, why is it that when I am from this country, I was given $500 per month, and that person from another country was given $3,500 just for staying in US. They are not even refugees. Why? We are also spending a lot of money. I can tell you, way back in time, there was a very great war that happened between India and Pakistan. And Pakistan was literally destroying Bangladesh, because Bangladesh, there was no Bangladesh. It was called East Pakistan. That side of the country was called East Pakistan. This was called West Pakistan. East Pakistan was literally, there was a person called Yahya Khan and all those people. Now, they were crushing these people. They were mostly Bengalis. In East Pakistan, they were only Bengalis. They were crushing them. So, India, in association with those people, they gave them freedom at that moment in time. I was a very young person in Mumbai. Just outside my house, they had built a very, very big shed. Okay, now in our entire 2 buildings that we were living in, we had about 40 families over there. But in this shed, there were 100 families from Bangladesh. 100 families from Bangladesh were staying in these sheds. Food was provided, water was provided, everything was given free. And I will ask you this question, where are these people today? These people who had come in as refugees to India are now Indian citizens. They have a visa, they have passport, they have everything. Oh, not visa, Aadhaar card. They have, these people have become Indians today. Do you know how many people are Indians in this? The person whom you are meeting, he is saying, oh, I am from Bengal. He is not telling you that he has come from Bangladesh. I am not saying that it is good or bad. What I am saying is this. There is strife in that country. That strife in that country is affecting us as well. So here you think about it. We are freely allowing people to enter. That is what United States is doing. It is stopping people at the borders today. Please don't come inside my country. The Mexicans, the cartels are there. He is telling the cartel people, you cannot enter our country. Fentanyl is coming inside United States from both the sides. That is being stopped. But in India, we are not even doing anything. People are just walking inside the land. We need to do something about it. The Indian government needs to put a border or a wall and put an army over there and not allow this. And we should definitely get into this where everybody should be asked where they come from and full, we should definitely have this. But that is not being done. Now think about it. If we want a Hastinapur, which is peaceful, and when you don't have any mental tensions, you are sure that nobody is going to kill you, nobody is going to maim you, then you are going to be happy in a country like that. Look at the nations today. We are in chaos, utter chaos. It is like before, it's like the Mahabharata war going on internally. Everybody has to wake up at this moment in time. We are so happy in our ensconced in our small world of ours and thinking, oh, I have my wife, I have my children, I just have to bother about my salary coming every month. Nobody is bothered about the bigger things in life. You want to be a king, you have to think like a king, not like a pauper, not like a person who is having, oh, this is my family. No, Vasudeva Kutumbakam, isn't that what we say? So we have to become like that. We have to identify people. We have to know where they are coming from. And we have to be very sure that these are not the elements who are going to destroy this country. So you will find that Sri Krishna is going back to his land. So we are now back into the story. At that time, Subhadra, his sister, Draupadi, Kunti, Uttara, all the women over there, all the men over there, the sages and the saints who were gathered, they are feeling very disturbed because Sri Krishna is going back. The intelligent who have understood the Supreme Lord in association with pure devotees have become freed from bad materialistic association, can never avoid hearing the glories of the Lord, even though they have heard them only once. How then could the Pandavas tolerate his separation? For they have been intimately associated with his person, seeing him face to face, touching him, conversing with him, sleeping, sitting, dining with him. Now think about this. Sri Krishna has said that he is about to leave. He's got inside his chariot. Everybody who has a feeling for Sri Krishna, some of them know who he is, some of them don't even know who he is. But his love is so great that everybody is feeling that pain in their heart because he is going away. And nobody could tolerate this separation. You know, it is a very difficult thing to be separated from your own beloved. Sri Krishna is the most loved person, whereas devotion is concerned. You know, we are all devotees of Sri Krishna. And if Sri Krishna is going away, do you know how painful it is to feel that? It is something which is terrible. You go through pangs of misery. You know, Raganuga Bhakti. Raganuga Bhakti is a very, very peculiar bhakti, where your soul yearns for the divine soul. And in this, in the divine soul, the way you feel is, and why is Lord not there with me just now? I want him with me, I want him with me, I want him with me. This is what a person feels. And imagine the Lord is going away, Sri Krishna. At that moment in time, their pain is going to be too much. You understand? The whole world is feeling the pinch of that separation that is going to come about. This particular love, which is called the love of separation, is higher than the love of being together. You should know this. Okay? It is when you are separate from your beloved that your love grows by leaps and bounds. Okay? This kind of love is very, very unique. But when you are in the company of that person for a long time, maybe you don't feel it. You don't feel the love. You feel all the pain that you can see is, oh, why is this person doing like that? Why is that person doing like that? But understand this. This kind of love by separation is the very unique kind. And that is what everybody is feeling, because they have stayed with him for some time. And when you stay with him for some time, naturally you feel that thing within you. All their hearts were melting for him on the pot of attraction. They looked at him without blinking their eyes, and they moved hither and thither in perplexity. So when they were looking at Sri Krishna, they were feeling, the tears were rolling down their eyes. One of the greatest, feelings that comes about when it was asked to Narada, what is devotion? And this is a very interesting question. And in the Narad Bhakti Sutra, Narada says that devotion is by separation. The highest devotion happens in separation. So when you are not one with the Lord and you can see him, or you can look at his image and you feel that pangs of misery, do you know what happens? When your heart is moving towards him constantly, your eyes water. You don't even know you are crying. For what reason are you crying? Can you understand that? You don't know. You see, Your hair are standing at ends, horripilations we call it, no? All your hair are standing at ends. Sometimes you are laughing, sometimes you are crying, sometimes you are feeling literally like a hole in your stomach. Your heart is literally wrenching away. You can see, you can feel the sweat running down your spine. These are a few things which happens. And that is the highest bhakti. So when you cry for the Lord, that is the time you will feel the highest of the bhakti. So everybody is going at it like that. They were unblinking, because even if they blink, they will miss out that 1 second. So that is the reason why they were just looking at him. You keep on looking at him. The female relatives, whose eyes were flooded with tears out of anxiety for Krishna, came out of the palace. They could stop their tears only with great difficulty. They feared that tears would cause misfortune at the time of departure. So when Sri Krishna was going away, at that moment in time, the pain, the misery which he could feel, all those women who came out at that point, they were crying away to glory. And this pain was felt quite a lot. And they can't even blink when their eyes are watering. And it is not proper to show the water in your eyes. So they were feeling that pain as well. I still remember way back in time, I had gone to this place in Kamareddy. And Swami Riyananda, I spent some few days with him. I don't know, 1 or 2 days, I think. He welcomed me one day in the middle of the night at 11:30, 12 o'clock, I think we must have reached. And he was waiting. He's a very old man. And he was waiting with the flowers and garlands and this and that, and water was ready to wash my feet when I went over there. Such a great Swamiji. He must have been 82 years old when I was there. And then I had to tell him, now I am leaving. Do you know, this great sage and saint literally burst out crying. He couldn't control his tears, and even when I was getting inside my car, he just couldn't control himself. He was crying like a baby. I mean, this kind of love can only be experienced by the highest of the devotee. Only the highest of the devotee will feel the pain when they are going away. When their beloved is going away. And here, he was literally crying like a baby, and he couldn't even control his tears. An old person, past his 80s. Whenever I would go over there was so much of love pouring. I still remember when I went for the first time, I thought nobody will, he had called me, so I went there. I was sitting amongst the people over there. Now, he recognizes me, he gets up and he says to me, come, and literally hugs me in front of all his disciples and devotees. Now, nobody was aware who I was and all that. He makes a good space for me, makes me sit next to him, and literally he's got those, that love pouring out of his eyes. And then after his satsang, he was telling me, come for lunch. And the funniest part of it all was, he put a table for me, laid it with one, cover, a very nice plate. In the plate, everything was kept. And he was standing there with the whole family of his. His wife and son and daughter-in-law and all the children over there. They are watching me eat. You know how much he wanted to feed me at that time? I can feel the love that he had, though I was meeting him for the first time in this body. But the first time itself was astounding. He's a great saint and a sage. Why would he want to do that? And then after I finished my meal, I was feeling so bad that I was the only person eating the meal and the whole family was looking at me. And I finished my meal, okay? I take only once in that plate. So he also knows what I do. So he finished. And then he's telling me, wash your hands in the plate. I said, no. He removed the water and he was trying to pour it on me. I said, no, I will go and I will wash it in the wash basin. I went to the wash basin and in his own room he took me. And when I went there, I washed my hands and I turned. He was holding a napkin in his hands and saying, Guruji, please wipe your hands on this. Can you imagine the love that is there? Does anybody do this? No, nobody does this. When you are in love, you are going to feel all this misery and pain. And when it was time for me to go, it was always a crying session. He did not want me to go. And that is how it was. It was always so wonderful to see. And that is what the people of Hastinapur, all the women and the men over there were feeling when Krishna was about to leave. At that time, this is verse 17, Arjuna, the great warrior and conqueror of sleep, who is intimate friend of the most beloved Sri Krishna, took up the umbrella which had a handle of jewel and was embroidered with lace and pearls. Uddhava and Satyaki began to fan the Lord with decorated fans, and the Lord, as a master of Madhu, seated on the scattered flowers, commanded them along the road. It was being heard here and there that the benediction being paid to Krishna was neither befitting nor unbefitting, because they were all for the Absolute, who was now playing the part of a human being. So Sri Krishna gets inside his chariot. Satyaki is the person who is the charioteer. Uddhava is his friend who gets inside with him. And he is fanning him. You know the charmer which you say? Fan, the gods. Yeah. And it was an open chariot. So Arjuna was holding the umbrella on top of the umbrella. There is an umbrella, chhatri we call it. He was holding on top of Sri Krishna's head so that the sun doesn't scorch him. How many people have you seen this in your life? Do you know you see it and yet you don't see it? Do you know there is a picture over there? Can you see that picture? Have you ever noticed how Sai Baba's feet are? Sai Baba's feet are exactly the way Sri Krishna's feet are. Like this, cross. And there is a chhatri on top of his head. People don't recognize that. His feet are crossed like this. Have you seen Krishna's feet, how they are crossed? Exactly in the same way as Sai Baba's picture is. We don't recognize things. That picture may be in front of you, but we can't see it. And here Sri Krishna is going away. There is a chhatri on top of his head, held by Arjuna. Alright? Now let us see what happens. Absorbed in the thought of transcendental qualities of the Lord, who is sung in selected poetry, the ladies on the roof of all the houses of Hastinapur began to talk of him. This talk was more attractive than the hymns of the Vedas. When a relative of yours comes to your house, whom you don't like so much, see, when the relative is going away, Do you know the amount of gossip that happens? People talk ill about that same person. Oh, he is like this, she is like this, they look at the way they were dressed, look at what they were doing, how they are, they eat so much, they do this, they do that. Everything is criticized. But when the beloved goes away, there is no criticism. Even the finest of the details. Did I not tell you the finest of the details just now? The finest of the details were being shown over here. I will tell you one more instance. I had gone same place to Kamareddy, and Baba was sitting over there, and he was like an enthusiastic person. Now he was on his deathbed, remember, he was in his final lap of his journey. And he wanted blessings. Okay? You see how funnily he did this. He went inside, brought out an album and some papers. Okay? Now that album was talking about, there was one ceremony that was done and there was a construction activity that was happening. Now he comes out and he tells me, this is the blueprint of the building that I am building. You see, the building is coming here in front. We have done the ground breaking ceremony and all that. And there is a neighboring building where people are going to come and stay. Now when he was doing that, I said, very good, very nice, very good. My way of talking is always like this. You know, I asked him a very funny question. Where are you going to stay? I am there only in the middle. I said, then good. This will come to fruition. Guruji, give us your Ashirwad for this. I said, my Ashirwad is with you, don't worry. You will get these 2 buildings done. But first I have to build a house for you. You have to stay first. Now when I spoke like this, nobody over there understood what I was talking. Nobody. What I was telling him very clearly was, they are going to pass away before the building is built. But the building will get built and it will get occupied also, and everything is going to happen. But before that, your house has to be built. So you need a place. So he answered me very cryptically, I will be there only, I will be in the middle. Today if you go to that place, you will find that there is a temple, there is a main hall, there is a place to stay, and bang in the middle is his samadhi. Very cryptically he took the blessings. And then he folded the paper. Very nice. And kept it inside. Now all the people sitting over there and standing, they were thinking that, oh, he wants donations. See, everybody is thinking like this. The dirt in the people's mind is, oh, he is asking for donation from Guruji. No. He is asking for blessings so that he can build that thing and it can get built. So when I said these words, after he kept everything away and then he went inside, what is the first thing that I did was, I walked inside the temple. Then I walked there, they have one Havan Kund over there, so I walked inside that Havan Kund. His son was following me. His son was telling me all kinds of things. Then we went to that Nivas where all the devotees will come and stay. There were many, blocks they were building. So I visited that. Then I came to this place where they were going to have this hall. So I said, very good. I said, this is very nice and a nice thing. And I finished my journey and I came back. Nobody understood what I was doing. Because it is not necessary for you to know, for nobody to know over there. It is something which people do. The divinities, they have a very funny way of doing things. Now, the way in which Krishna behaves cannot be understood by common man. Because his way of working is very, very unique. One day, another story. One day, Upasini Maharaj was sitting in his jhopadi. Baba was sitting in front over there. There were some people sitting there. And Meher Baba, that is. And everybody who is sitting over there are interested in stories. So they were all listening. Suddenly Meher Baba became silent. And then he's gesturing something. You know, those kind of gestures. After some time, some people asked him, what were you doing? Now they didn't recognize him. What were you doing? Oh, I was working out something in that part of the world. But you are sitting over here. How can you be working something in some other part of the world? No, there was some disturbances somewhere. So we had to take care of that. These sages and saints are very unique people. They will be doing some gestures like this, they're talking to themselves, and sometimes they will do like this. Nobody understands what they are doing. You know, they are the ones who have taken charge of the world. They come in the world so that things can be sorted out. You can't see them fighting on the war front. You can't see them going to somebody's house and doing something. They will be sitting in their place and doing like this. Something they will do. They are correcting those things in those different places. And this is how all the great avatars do this. They may just behave like an ordinary person. They may be looking like this, talking very ordinarily. Nobody understands. So they said, here he is. Sri Krishna, as we definitely remember him. He alone existed before the manifest creation and the mode of the nature. And in him only, because he is the Supreme Lord, all living beings merge as if sleeping at night, their energy is suspended. Sri Krishna again desired to give names and forms to his part and parcel, the living entities, place them under the guidance of material nature. By his own potency, material nature is empowered to recreate. This is the reason why I told you this answer. You may wonder, what is he doing sitting over there with some 16,000 wives of his, sitting and doing nothing? What is Shri Ram doing after he came back from Lanka? Anybody knows? They just know, oh, he left his wife in the jungles and 2 sons were there. But what happened in between? Nobody has an answer. Nobody gives an answer. Sri Krishna, after killing all the demons and fighting the war, what did he do? Anybody has an answer? Nobody has an answer. Because he may be sitting over there. He rules the world. Even the leaf, even the breeze that is coming in, anything and everything is under his divine control. But he looks like an ordinary person sitting over there doing nothing. He may be just sitting over there, yeah, I'm doing this, how are things with you? He's talking like this, like an ordinary mortal, and you may feel, oh, he is talking like some ordinary person. Don't get carried away by this kind of behavior of theirs, okay? Very funny they are. They will make you feel that you are talking to a friend or some relative of yours. How are you? Very fine. Thank you. How is your children? Very good. Okay. That is not how it is. That's what he is saying. Every portion of Sri Krishna, even the hair of his, you see, even the Sudarshan Chakra, invisible, you can't see it. Can you see the Sudarshan Chakra anywhere? No. Krishna will look like with two hands, maybe doing like this also. But nobody can see his Sudarshan Chakra. Nobody can see the Kamal that is there in his hand. Anybody can see? Nobody can see anything. Can you see the Lakshmi next to him? That also you can't see. Nobody can see anything. Why? Because he behaves like an ordinary person. The personality of Godhead, that is Sri Krishna, again desiring to give names and forms to his parts and parcels. Every portion of his body, every portion is pavitra, is full of divinity. So, there is, like, say for example, today you will find that if you go to, say, Sajjangarh, you go to Shri, you go to these places, you will find that something belonging to that sage or the saint is lying over there. What? Maybe the slippers that they were wearing, say paduka or chappal that are there, even the satka, that stick which is there, some book that they have given, something that they have done, that's lying over there. So what he says? He gives names and forms to his parts and parcels. So every part of his being, he touches, suppose a pen, that becomes holy. You will really wonder, is that so? Of course it is so. How would you otherwise understand that? The living entities, place them under the guidance of material nature. So he places everything around him under the material nature. That is, Prakriti does everything for him. Here is the first clue which he is given. First, the Prakriti is handling literally everything for him. This is the first time there is a mention there. Before this, there is a mention where he covers everybody up. That is another potency. That potency is called Maya. So there are two potencies of his. They are always on the right and the left of him. Prakriti is there and Maya is there. They are constantly with him. He doesn't do anything. He just names things. Oh, like this. Oh, like that. Under the guidance of material nature, by his own potency, material nature is empowered to recreate. It is with his guidance that material nature does everything. So remember one thing, Sri Krishna is never alone. Don't be under the impression that he looks only one single person standing over there. He has Maya on one side, which is covering him up completely, and he has Prakriti on the other side, who is always taking guidance from him. What should I do now? What should I do now? And just by looking at things only, she does everything for him. So we have come to the end of verse 22. We will stop over here today.
Recording stopped.